Hello, everyone. This is Tim, and today I'm going to talk about allowing the spotlight to shift when you're a player. This kind of goes along with spotlight hogging, where someone does a lot of talking and sort of steamrolls over the other players, especially when it comes down to like one or two people talking at the same time. There's a certain personality out there that'll just kind of keep going, even though someone else is talking. And I wanted to talk about just letting, I guess, basically just letting yourself have a little bit of spotlight time and then standing back, taking a step back so that other players can move into the spotlight and have their time in the sun as well. I've noticed when you get, especially the groups that have a lot more players, like 6 players or even greater, that there is a competition to get into the spotlight, and you need to be aware of that as a GM. That sort of keep mental notes. Okay, well, this player has been talking for probably about 45 minutes in this session, and this player over here has said maybe 3 words. I need to prompt that player. I need to maybe ask questions out of character to see if they can be more proactive or to try to get them in, because I know as a I'm more of an introvert, that if I go up against a personality like that where there's a competition to see who can get in, who can speak louder so that their words are heard, after a while I'm just probably going to just shut down and not try to get into that spotlight. Especially if I'm playing in a group that has like maybe 3 of these types of personalities. uh, you're not just competing against one other, personality. You can compete against 3 different ones that are all sort of steamrolling over top of you and not allowing you into that centerpiece, into that time where you can, show off your character or you can role play. And it's kind of tough. It's definitely something you need to talk, maybe not even just talk about, just know about that. You know, try to pay attention to how much you're talking in the game and look around the table and you know just see, compare what you're doing with what everybody else is doing. I know that I did this in my A Song of Ice and Fire game a few times as a player. I do this sort of thing a lot as a GM, where I pay attention to how much people are talking and try to get the quiet players into the mix. But that doesn't necessarily have to be a GM's role. That can be something that the players self monitor themselves with, or just sort of pay attention to. And maybe when the GM calls on you as a more active player or proactive player, you could maybe even say, hey, John over there, he hasn't really said anything in a while. Why don't you see what his character wants to do? Or just sort of like, I don't know, I know it's a role playing game, and I sort of go back to the game aspect, I guess, when it comes to this, where you want players to have fairly equal turns. And it doesn't always have to be like 100% equal. Maybe this session this player has a lot more time, and the next session, maybe a different character has more time. In most groups, I think it balances out if you pay attention to it, if you watch how much you're talking, if you watch, just sort of look around the table and just think, okay, has this character really done anything this session? Has this character really done anything? Maybe it's sort of that give and take between the GM and the players. I think that the players need to probably try to be more proactive, and the GM needs to just see where everyone is as far as how much is being done, how much is being said, and just sort of pay attention to that. Have you ever been in a situation like that? Are you more of an extrovert, or are you more of an introvert? And how does that affect that for you? Have you been in a situation where you are the person that's doing most of the talking? And I've been in that position too, where I have to just tell myself that, okay, Tim, you need to just shut up, because you are taking up too much time, too much of the game. In hindsight, I probably did that a little bit in the A Song of Ice and Fire game. There were times when I felt that I had overstepped myself. And again, that goes back to my being rusty as a player, being a GM mostly. And so when I get back in those player boots, sometimes I do things that I kind of regret, or I just look back and think, I probably should have just taken more of a backseat role in that one scene and let the other character rise to the top. But the only way we're going to get better is if we practice and experience things, if you give it a shot and just keep your eyes open and sort of reflect on the last games that you've been in and maybe even be a little bit self-critical, thinking of different parts in the game, like, I could have done that differently, or, in that case, I really should just shut up and let that other character, take the spotlight. So, share alike. Try to be fair around the table as far as what everyone is doing and saying. Try to motivate one another, and I think this goes a long way towards like a group cohesion. That you know if you play for a little while, you can start to understand how people are. What they're like. If there is a person that has a tendency to overtalk someone else, that's something that you can mention to them. It's something that if you notice about yourself, you can take little steps to try to reduce that. If you, let's say you're a very proactive player and there's a very introverted, quiet player, and maybe after a game you realize, hey, I totally just steamrolled over him like 3 times and he never actually got to say what he wanted to say. Maybe apologize for that afterwards, and just talk to that player. It doesn't have to be like a group discussion. It can just be a one-on-one, private message, email. If you're close to that person, maybe even give them a call afterwards and say, hey, I think this is a situation where like our personalities are clashing a little bit. Uh, you know, maybe come up with some like nonverbal sign, like he like scratches his nose, like, okay, dude, you're talking way too much. Because sometimes for introverted people, nonverbal things can go a long way. So I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, just in general, just try to pay attention to what kind of personalities are around the table. And if you're a person that tends to steamroll over others, you need to look at that. If you find yourself to be a little bit of a spotlight hog, which I think I am at times, but I'm working on it, which is weird because, like I said, I'm more of an introverted person, but RPGs have sort of broke me out of my shell a little bit, and at times I can, I cross the line. So it's good to know that about myself. It's good to know that I need to watch out for this too. So if you have any opinions or thoughts about, you know, sharing the spotlight, allowing the spotlight to shift from player to player, from character to character, please put them down in the links below. Or if you have a lot of thoughts and if you like doing a video, feel free. I've told a lot of people that all of the videos on my channel are open to video responses. Feel free to five-finger discount all the ideas and make your own videos of them. I really don't care. I think that's more the collaborative, environment that we have here, that, all these ideas that are out there are, free to share, free to view, and, feel free to put your own spin on these ideas as well, and I'd love to see them. If you ever do a video response to any of my stuff, just put a link to the video down in the comments, since the video responses have been, taken away. But that's pretty much it, guys. I actually got a free, a little free time here in the morning because my son is sleeping in, so I figured I'd do a video. All right, everyone. I'll talk to you later.